So I really recommend that if you're serious about learning some plant identification skills, to go out and buy yourself a local guidebook, field guide, or dichotomous key. Generally speaking, there's a few ways that you can go finding a reference book, a field guide for your local area, and one of them is Google searching it. So if I lived in Dubbo, New South Wales, I would look for field guide, Dubbo, New South Wales. Hopefully something would come up, maybe something wouldn't come up. In terms of sourcing your local field guide, I recommend once again having a look through the school community. Within the community, I have made a post and some dedicated resources about different key guides that are available for different regions of Australia. People have helped comment ones from different regions that I'm not familiar with, and I've added a bunch that people commented on an Instagram post in there as well. So this is quite filled out and a really great place to go have a look. I'll link the resources document down below, but once again, go have a look within the community tab section and hopefully you can find it in there. Another really strong suggestion is to use the school community for its value, and that is to go into the Plan ID community section and ask for a key guide of your local area. Hopefully someone will be able to help you out and will know a really good guide for your area to get you started with. Now, in terms of whether you should go for a field guide or dichotomous key book, that is up to you. A field guide is more of a book with a lot of species from an area. It doesn't have a strong system or a specific system to key down or to figure out exactly what plant you're looking at. It might separate it by flower color, it might separate it by season, it might separate it by leaf shape, it might separate it by other factors that we've just spoken about, but it won't continue to separate it down. It might only have one or two of these features. It might be different ecosystems, for example. And from the ecosystem that you're in, let's say I am in the dunes of South Australia, I could use a field guide that is relevant to coastal areas of Australia, or maybe coastal areas of South Australia. And within that, it might be able to key out to the dunes and headlands section of that book. However, it's not going to go down to saying, well, this is a pea, this has a certain leaf shape that determines it to be within a direction of plants that have that same leaf shape. A field guide more directs you in the right direction, and it is up to you to go through, read the description, and get a better idea of whether it is the right plant. I find field guides are really great and fun to use, and I often can get good ideas out of them. However, if I wanted to be 100% sure of something, if I was eating it, or if I just really wanted to be certain, I wouldn't just use a field guide. I would take photos, use a field guide, go home and use a dichotomous key. Or if I had a dichotomous key book, I would use that. A dichotomous key is a series of questions that help narrow down to specifics of what you're looking at. So this might mean if you're looking at a plant, it will ask you what flower shape it has, or maybe it will ask you what leaf shape it has, or maybe it'll ask you what environment you're in. And from this, it'll then ask another question. It will direct you to a certain set of questions, and it slowly breaks down from question to question, narrowing out other questions until you arrive at a specific section of maybe 5 plants, or often it leads you down to 1 plant. Now, these rely on a couple of things. One, that you understand plant identification to the point of being able to use the key correctly and not misinterpret certain words and language. And 2, that this is not a new weed or something that is not currently in that book, or maybe it's an older version from the 1970s and it doesn't include some species that have been renamed since then. These aren't really major things, and often when you use a dichotomous key or a field guide, I then verify it maybe by using iNaturalist. So I look through my books, find the plant, and then I might also post it on iNaturalist to confirm that they are correct. You could do the same with school. There's lots of different ways to go about this, but generally speaking, what I do is field guide followed by dichotomous key online, which was what we previously spoke about, like PlantNet, followed by maybe iNaturalist if I'm still unsure. Once again, your local field guides are really important, and I highly recommend you get a field guide, dichotomous key, or some sort of book that you can go out and look at plants with. This will really help you in the next steps of improving your plant identification. You have now got some basic understanding, the theory behind it. Now it's really important that you've now got some basic understanding, the theory behind it, and I have shown you some examples of myself doing it. I have shared with you some very introductory ideas and concepts and information about plant identification. From here, there's 2 steps that will really help you to advance and grow in this area. The first one is practice. You have to go out into nature and key out plants and use your identification skills to figure out plants. This is critical because without that, you will just lose the knowledge. It's like learning a language, it's like learning an instrument, it's like learning anything. If you learn a skill and then don't go practice it, it becomes really difficult to retain the skill. So, if you really did enjoy this course and this is something that you're interested in, it would be really beneficial if you went out and practiced. The ways I would go about practicing is getting in contact with the school community and seeing if there's someone in your local area who might be interested to go for a walk. Seeing if there's a friend in class who's interested in going for a walk. Or going by yourself or with your family. All you have to do at the end of the day is take a few photos, maybe a branch if you feel like taking a branch, but be warned, but in national parks, you never know what's likely to be there. You could actually take something from something that's quite rare. It's not likely, but there is also always the possibility. So in terms of national parks, it's also illegal. Please be careful. I highly recommend that you listen to my photography course, and that will help you to take good enough photos that you can go home and key it out at home. And that's what I do. That's literally everything that I do. The other element to continuing to improve your skills and maybe changing career or whatever it is that you're interested in getting out of these skills is to then go forth and learn more about it. So you've got the current theory, you're doing the practice, it's now time to level up. I highly recommend you take advantage of the school community. The free community has heaps of stuff to do. If you want to learn more and you want to go more in depth, then look at the intermediate course. I go really into depth here with a friend of mine who's been doing this for many more years than I have, and then we get more and more advanced as time goes on. So if you enjoyed, and I hope you did, please let me know. Get involved in the community. And once again, thank you so much for your participation. I really hope you've learned something. And yeah, I will see you around. Feel free to leave a comment, a message in the community, a question, whatever it is, and I will try to get back to you.